Hello aspirants and welcome to Legacy IAS Academy. In this lecture of current affairs, we'll be seeing as to why the euro is rising against the dollars. That means the euro is becoming stronger, or correspondingly you can say that the dollar is becoming weaker. So we'll see what the scenario is. Was that the case throughout? We'll see that and the reasons behind it and what the future holds. So what the news is all about? See, when Donald Trump was to become the president of USA, since then the euro, if we track, we will see that once he became the president, the euro, the power, or let's say the value of euros declined with respect to the dollar. So there have been the exchange rate between the dollar and euro, it saw a sharp change. Now, what was that change? Did the dollar weaken? No, it was the euro that weakened, right? The euro that weakened, we'll see the reasons for that. But did it kept on weakening? No. What has happened now recently is that the euro has started resurrecting itself, and if you see, there has been a sharp upward trend over here, and now euro has come back to the same level as it was just before the election of Donald Trump as the president of USA. So you can see there was a sharp decline and now a huge amount of recovery is there. So why was the reason for sharp decline? Why is it now recovering now? And what the future holds, we'll see all that in detail. Now, before we move on to the news, a very important announcement here. So all of you who are appearing for Prelims 2024, please do not miss out on the free All India Prelims mock test which Legacy IAS Academy will be covering. This will give you the All India ranking as well, tell you where you stand, along with, of course, detailed solutions and the discussion sessions. So register yourself for this and get the benefit of this All India test series. Now, once you're done with prelims, the number of days are quite less, approximately 3 months are there. So to improve your answer writing, you can register yourself for Impact 2025, which is the answer writing enhancement program, in which the major focus will be on personalized feedback and mentorship. It will cover all your GS papers as well as essays in live sessions. Having said that, let's move on with this news. Now, this change we have seen has happened. So earlier, one euro was equal to 1.09 $1.09. Now this one euro equals $1.09. It fell down to $1.03, and now it has gone back up to $1.09. Now this is the amount of fluctuation. Now the fluctuation seems very little. So the question is the change very minuscule, very small? Per dollar, yes, it is very small. But what happens is people who deal in the currencies, in the exchange rate of currencies, they will be dealing overall, will be dealt in billions and trillions of dollars, as a result of which individuals or the organizations can have an impact, a loss or profit of millions and millions of dollars, as a result of which the small change also can have a considerable impact on this currency speculation, currency exchange rate players, etc. I hope that's clear. Now, what is this currency exchange rate that we are talking about? If we are saying 1 euro equals $1.09, that is the exchange rate of euro and dollar. So what is this exchange rate? This exchange rate is nothing but the value of one currency in terms of another currency. It is nothing but the value of one currency. One currency means one country's currency in relation, that means in comparison to another country's currency. So this basically determines how much of one currency you need to purchase a unit of another currency. If you take in terms of dollars and rupees, $1 is equivalent to around 87 rupees. That means you require $87 to 87 rupees to buy one single dollar. In this manner, if you say 1 euro equals $1.09, that means you need $1.09 to buy one single euro. That is what is meant by the exchange rate. Now, why this exchange rate changes or fluctuates? That is because of the demand and supply of that particular currency. So for example, if the demand in Americans for euro is more. Why we are talking about Americans, euros, and Europeans, US dollars, is because they majorly trade among each other a lot. The European Union countries as well as US, they trade a lot, and hence the exchange of dollar and euro takes place. So if the demand for euros in Americans goes up, they are demanding high euros. Why? Because they want to import the goods and services of European Union, of the European countries. So what will happen? The demand for euro will go up, as a result of which the cost of euro will go up, and correspondingly, if dollar remains the same, the cost of euro is going up. That means what? Contrastingly, the dollar is weakening against the euro. I think that's clear. Now this opposite can also happen. If the Europeans are demanding more and more dollars for getting imports from USA as compared to the Americans demanding the euros, then what will happen? The dollar can also appreciate, right? So this is how the fluctuation of the currency takes place. Now the question over here is, why did this particular thing happen? So we'll see it in two phases. In the first phase, why did the euro fall, and in the second phase we'll see why did the euro then started appreciating. So first things first, why did the euro fall? So euro fell because Donald Trump, people anticipated that he'll win. He actually won the elections, and there was basically considered to be a dominant view, a positive view with respect to his election as the or let's say winning of elections as the president of USA. So the market was positive. It was said that USA will become stronger with respect to business, with respect to trade. The dollar will appreciate further. So sentiments were quite high. At the same time, Trump had promised certain things. So what were the promises? The very first was the tax cut. Means the taxes would be reduced. When the taxes will be reduced, of course, what will happen? The profits will increase. Why? Because if the tax are reduced, there is a concept of profit before income tax. So let's say the profit before income tax is $100 million for a particular country, for a particular company. Now, if the taxes were 15%, you will have to pay $15 million as tax. But if you reduce this tax percentage to 10%, now you just have to pay $10 million as tax. So PAT, that is profit after taxes, will be high. So ultimately, the amount of money that is left with the company as profit will increase if the taxes go down, and Donald Trump promised to reduce the taxes, to cut the taxes. Second thing is, he talked about deregulation. Deregulation means increase the ease of doing business, reduce the regulations, reduce the rules, regulations, ease it off, make it more liberal, thus making it easier for people to start businesses as well as close businesses, so on and so forth. So both of them will have a positive impact in the market, in the market's sentiment with respect to businesses, as a result of which people would want to invest in the coming days in USA, as a result of which they would want to hold more and more dollars, as a result of which the dollar would appreciate, and subsequently we can see the fall, the sharp fall in the euro. Now, one more thing is there. Once he got elected, or even there was a possibility even before he was getting elected or before assuming office, is the threat of tariff. So this was of course there, but why did it not impact the dollars negatively? Because the market took this threat of tariff not a real one, but rather a way for USA or Donald Trump to leverage other countries to lower the tariffs in their own countries. So it was taken just as a threat, but not something Donald Trump would actually do it, but just threaten so that others reduce their tariffs. So this did not have much impact on the sentiments of the market with respect to dollar or with respect to USA. Now, further, if we continue to answer this question, these points we saw so far with respect to USA. Now there were concerns with respect to European Union as well, which ensured that the euros fell. What was that? Basically, the European Central Bank, which was there, it was often caught between two minds. What two minds? First, the growth was slow. So should I stimulate the economy by reducing the policy rates, or because the inflation is high, should I increase the policy rate in order to control the inflation? So the Central Bank of European Union was caught in this two mind, as a result of which creating uncertainty, and uncertain situation is not an optimum situation for investors to invest their money, as a result of which the trust in the euros fell further and the euros itself went down. I hope this is clear. So the reason for fall of euro is clear. Now let's see why the recovery, what caused the reversal. So once Donald Trump assumed office, what happened is a lot of things. Basically the tariff threat and all is there, but they did not have much impact. But still there are certain things which we will talk about which has given rise to this reversal. First things first, worsening of prospects of US economy. Various organizations, including the OECD, Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, has said that the growth rate of USA is going to go down. So the growth rate is going to go down. That is a negative. There is now uncertainty with respect to what step Donald Trump takes with respect to USA and its economy, because he has been very uncertain himself and his decisions have been on his own whims and fancies, which is not even accepted as such by the judiciary of USA and other politicians of USA and the organizations, various organizations of USA. Plus, of course, poorer growth prospects of OECD. At the same time, when it comes to OECD, it has given an improving prospect for European Union economies. Economies means various countries in the European Union. So that is why this trend reversed and euro started gaining value. Now the question is, will this trend sustain? Now to answer this, the first thing first, there is no guarantee. Of course there is no guarantee. So are we saying just like that there is no guarantee? No, there is a reason to it. The reason is there are too many ifs and buts. What are these too many ifs and buts? Now the threat earlier was of tariff was seemed to be just a threat, but now probably it's a reality. So in the future, if too many tariffs are imposed, that is not going to help the sentiments of the investors with respect to dollars, as a result of which a shift in euro may still be there. But if this threat remains just a threat but not practicality, then what will happen is people will still get back high sentiments with respect to dollars, and this trend may not sustain and probably go down as well. Now finally, what is the impact on India if this trend continues? If dollar starts weakening against the euros, that means what? Dollar is weakening with respect to Indian rupee also. If that happens, so because of that, it will help reduce inflation in India, because we basically import huge amount of crude oil in dollars. So if dollar is cheaper, our import bill will be less, the cost required to import crude oil will be less, as a result of which things will be cheaper in India. Because crude oil is cheaper, everything becomes cheaper, because anything and everything requires transportation, logistics, requires crude oil or petroleum power, etc., for importing aid, for transportation, logistics, etc., as a result of which inflation will go down, as import bills will go down. So this to an extent will help India. Of course, up to a certain limit. Too much of fluctuation is not desirable. Thank you.